Hi, I'm Nathan Jones, and I'm here today to present FanStatsy, a fantasy football lineup recommender that I built and implemented as a Google Chrome extension. So, who cares about fantasy football or fantasy sports in general? Well, over the past decade or so, interest has been steadily growing, with tens of millions of Americans participating each year. Of course, companies have taken notice of this interest and have found ways to make money off of this by facilitating gambling, by bringing users to their site, or by hosting blogs or TV shows that give players advice. So each week, each player is faced with a problem. Who do I start? Here's a screenshot from my NFL.com fantasy team. And you see on top, the players with the white backgrounds are the ones that I'm going to start this week, and the ones on bottom with the gray backgrounds are those that I'm going to sit this week. The ones that I start are going to accrue me points based on their performance, and the ones I sit are not going to give me any points. So, did I make the correct decision? Well, to try to determine this, going to show you my extension. You simply go to the extension, you click activate, and you see all these boxes pop up. And the players with the red boxes around them should not be starting. They should be sat, and the ones with the green boxes around them should be started in place of those with the red boxes. So it's very easy to use, very easy to interpret. So what's going on behind the scenes? How did I implement this? Well, as a start, I took inspiration from a different problem, from Netflix and how they determine how users would rate movies they haven't seen. In this problem, you have a bunch of users and a bunch of movies, and only a very small subset have been rated by the users. You have a bunch of blanks to fill in, and a method called collaborative filtering is pretty successful at filling in these blanks. Well, instead of users in movies, you can think about players and the teams that they're going up against, the defenses that are trying to stop them from performing well. And instead of ratings, you can think of the fantasy points they accrue. Similarly, you have a relatively sparse set of matchups between individual players and individual teams where we know how many fantasy points have been gained, and so our job is to fill in the blanks. Now, it's slightly more complicated because in this case, we have a situation where the players and the teams evolve over time. We have week to week changes. So, in order to handle this, I first trained my model on a full season way back in 2000. And then I used those results to check how well the model performs on week one of the next season. And then I train a little bit on week one. And then I try to predict week two. I look at the errors. I train on week two. And I go on and on and on until I reach present day. This slowly pulls the model toward a state that is accurate for the current state of the league. So you can see here for running backs over a specific season, the difference between two naive approaches for approximating their scores and the model. So in the blue, you have scores approximated by taking the mean of the player's performance over the season, and in the orange, you have the mean of what the defense allows over the season. Both of these are relatively naive, and they don't predict what we actually see very well. On the other hand, the collaborative filtering model does much better. So the problem we started with was, who do we start in our lineup? And I was able to implement a very simple to interpret and easy to use solution using collaborative filtering to solve this problem. I'm Nathan Jones. I got my bachelor's in physics at Harvey Mudd College and a PhD in physics at Harvard University, where I worked on the HRAP collaboration at CERN for several years. There, I analyzed and drew actionable conclusions off of large data sets. And I think that the skills I gained doing that should be useful going forward as a data scientist.